state of the vote for the President of the United States as delivered to the President of the Senate is as follows. The whole number of the electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, the majority is 270. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris. Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
Good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Thank you for being here, everybody. We're live. Make sure you give me a follow on X at @green_Jericho. Also, give me a follow on Instagram at JGTalk2, the number 2. I just hit over 1,000. So thank you very much. Like and subscribe to this channel. Like and subscribe to Green's House. Shout out to everybody in the comment section. I see you. You are heard, you are felt, and you are loved. Thank you for being here, everybody. Even if you're not in the comment section, thank you for your eyeballs and your ears. I figured that would be the best way to start this off. First of all, happy January 6th. What a great way to kick off this live stream, because that right there was Kamala, the Ugandan nightmare. Now, you may not remember her name, but you will never forget her voice. And it was nice to not hear that voice for a long time. And when I did hear it for the first time in this clip, it was very grating. Remember that scene from Jaws where the captain, everybody was talking in the room and he ran his fingers down the chalkboard? Somehow her voice is about 100,000 times worse than that. But the beauty of it is Kamala, the Ugandan nightmare, is one of many dumbasses who sat up there with a straight face. They didn't go, I'm just kidding. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. They're one of the people who sat there with a straight face and told us that January 6th is the worst day in American history. But Jericho, I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say because you are stricken with the disease of common sense. And common sense is tapping you on the shoulder and saying, what about 9/11? What about World War II? What about the Civil War? What about the Oklahoma City bombings? What about the First World War? I know there's a litany of things we got tangled up in as the country of America. But they say the January 6, 2021 was the worst, like the worst. So she was one of the main proponents of that bullshit. So on January 6th, she had to sit there with that filthy cock holster under her nose and certify the man that she holds responsible for January 6th. Now, I don't blame you if you now have to go get a glass of milk because that moment was so fucking sweet. You ever bite into something that's too sweet, a piece of chocolate or something? It's just too much. You have a dessert that's too decadent. Like, you like it, but damn, it's even too much for you. That's what that moment was. Then don't sue me if you now have type 2 diabetes after watching that clip. It's not my fault. I didn't know how sweet it was going to be. But that moment it's beautiful. It's mother's milk. It's the nectar of the gods. That Kamala Harris would have to sit there and certify the very man that she holds responsible for January 6th. Sometimes the planets, they just align. I hope that tasted like shit in your mouth, Kamala Harris. I hope you have pieces of corn and peanuts in your mouth because that moment tasted like so much shit to you. That's what you get. That's what you fucking get, you lying pinko commie piece of shit who laid on your back to get to the top. The politician who went horizontal so her career could go vertical. I love it. Because all of us know January 6th wasn't shit. It's very unfortunate that Ashley Babbitt lost her life that day due to that coward in a police uniform. I'm not going to call him a police officer. He was a coward who got his hands on a police uniform. But you are going to say that that is the worst day in American history? Then I got a clip coming up that's even worse. Worse. Sonny Hostin, I'm sure if you put some electrodes on her head to test her brain activity, it would just be a flat line. Somebody would run in the room and say, who died? Because all you, that's it, nothing, no activity. This dumbass said she compared slavery to World War II, the Holocaust, of course, and I got thoughts about the Holocaust. Why does the Holocaust, hold on, let me finish it. She compares it to World War II, the Holocaust, and slavery. Slavery. So here's my thing about the Holocaust, and I've had this thought for a long time. Why does the Holocaust get so much? Why is it so popular? Why is it always held up as the worst thing in human history? Why is it always taught to us and told to us that when it comes to human atrocities, the Holocaust is it? There's nothing beyond that. When you have Pol Pot, you have Stalin, you have King Leopold, and so many others who put that quote unquote 6 million dead to shame. I'm talking 10, 20 times that number. But you don't hear about that. We're not beat over the head with those statistics like we are with the Holocaust. Well, then you zoom out a little bit, get more of like a macro view. And then you look at who's in charge of what we see and hear. So it would behoove them to make themselves seem like the ultimate victims if they are the ones controlling what we see, hear, taste, and smell, and a whole bunch of other things. I mean, look at it. You don't got to be a hater. You're going to be an anti-Semite to look at the facts. Who owns what? But ever since I was a young man, I always thought that was weird, that that's all we hear about. But then you look at these other dictators around the same time. Around the same time, you got these people putting those numbers to fucking shame when it comes to the deaths and the executions and the way and the numbers, and all that kind of shit. That's right, the trail of tears, right here. I don't know. Side note, just I always thought that. But that's what she said, and I can't do it. I'm not a filthy piece of garbage. I hope I'm not. Maybe some people think I am. But, and I see the supers. I will get to them, I promise. Thank you. But I'll let her tell you what she thinks of January 6th.
And I just remember after January 6th, you had someone like Mitch McConnell placing the blame on January 6th where it belonged, squarely on Donald Trump's shoulders. And then you started seeing people backtrack that and losing their moral center. You had Condoleezza Rice, I believe, on this very show saying, we need to move on from January 6th. I say no. You don't move on, because January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, like World War II, things that happened, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery, we need to never forget, because past becomes prologue if you forget any race.
World War II. You've seen the footage. You've seen what happened in Pearl Harbor. You've seen the footage of the battles. You've seen our soldiers fighting tanks on foot, D-Day, Normandy, all that stuff. Not D-Day, Normandy, same thing. Omaha Beach. You've seen all that shit. Okinawa, or no, the Philippines. That shit was terrible. But that's nothing. That's a small fry compared to January 6th, where you had people literally Iwo Jima, thank you. You had thank you, Nicholas. You had people literally walking through the Capitol taking selfies. Now, of course, back in World War II, there were no cell phones, okay? But there were photographers there. There were videographers there who caught the footage. So did you see? Maybe I missed it. Maybe one of you guys out there in the chat, maybe one of you guys out there listening who's not in the chat, maybe you've seen this footage and I haven't. And if I haven't, please send it to me. Jericho Green 2018 at gmail.com. That's Jericho Green 2018 at gmail.com. All right? Do that for me. If you've seen this footage I'm about to tell you, and I haven't. Did you see any footage of soldiers getting together, taking off their helmets, going, ah, like this, and then the photographer, all right, hold on D-Day, Iwo Jima. Did you ever see any of that? I know we've all seen Saving Private Ryan. Was there any footage of the other guys going like this? Or no, hold on, let me hold my gun. Were there any photos like that? Because I haven't seen them. But on January 6th, I have seen footage of people standing in front of shit and holding flags and we're here. I saw people getting escorted through the Capitol building by the Capitol Police. I saw that. So you're telling me that World War II was full of carnage and death and blood and guts. Or what do they call it back then? Soldier's heart. Now it's PTSD. Full of all of those things is not as bad as a field trip that got out of hand. Because that's what happened inside the Capitol. There were people breaking shit, but were those feds? Were those the actual people who were there doing shit? Because like I mentioned before, only one person lost their life on January 6th. How many American soldiers lost their life in one battle in World War II? Not the entirety of World War II. Just pick a battle. Reach your hand inside the hat and pick out one battle and tell me how many people died there versus one on January 6th. How long did it take them to clean up after January 6th? A few hours? How long did it take them to pick up the bodies and the body parts at one of these battles in World War II? Then slavery? Fucking stop. Fucking stop. January 6th was nothing. January 6th was nothing but a kegger that got out of hand. You all done it. You've had a party at your house. Word gets out. You invited 25 people. Now there's 250 people. That's basically what January 6th was if you listen to your common sense, if you listen to your eyeballs and your ears. None the Miser, what's up? He says 23,000 died at Antietam in one day. That's nothing though, man. You got your shit all, you got your wires all crossed, None the Miser. You got your shit wrong. You got your shit wrong, man. You're telling me, oh, Antietam, 23,000 people. But we're talking January 6th, baby. That shit was crazy. Antietam, Schmantietam. And she didn't say that. She didn't mention the Civil War. Not this time, but Kamala did. Sloppy Joe did. The Civil War. 600,000 people lost their lives in the Civil War. Nothing. I saw a picture the other day of a skull of a Union soldier. It had a hole through it from a ball out of a musket. And it was about this big through the side of that dude's head all the way through to the other side. You could play peekaboo with this dude's skull. Nothing. Nothing compared to January 6th. That's right, Susie Downs. January 6th was a coup. Is that not the saddest coup you've ever seen? Is that not the worst Keystone Cop bullshit coup you've ever seen? Nobody brought a gun. You're supposed to be a bunch of Bible hugging, gun toting, tobacco spitting, doing truck driving Americans, you son of a bitch. And you left your gun at home? Isn't that part of a Trump supporter's uniform? Red hat, check. Bible, check. Gun, check. Isn't that part of our uniform? You showed up to overthrow the United States government and you forgot your strap? Stop. Stop right now. Anyway, let's get to these super chats, people. I appreciate you. Mr. Kojak, who loves you, baby. Thank you for the $2 super chat. He says, happy January 6th day. That's right, man. Happy January 6th, everybody. Don't forget. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, happy January 6th. Because we should be happy that we made it out of it. All of us should be happy that we survived one of the worst days in American history. So, happy January 6th. Mr. Ali K, what's up, man? Appreciate the Hamilton. Merry Christmas. Merry New Year. And Happy New Year to every one of you wonderful humans. Wish you gain 1 million followers, millions of subs this year, Jericho. I do too. You deserve it. Love your content. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Millions and millions. Many, many, many. Thank you, people. Hopefully, well, actually, the fact that Kamala had to certify the election for the man that she blames for said atrocity, the only moment that that's going to pale in comparison to is going to be when Trump gets into office in 2 weeks, 2 weeks to the day, when he gets in office and pardons all of the people who were involved with January 6th, all the political prisoners who were falsely imprisoned because of January 6th, because they happened to be on the premises on January 6th. When he pardons those people, to watch all of the liberal talking heads go, boom. Sonny Hostin, she's probably going to stroke out live on TV. All those talking heads, how dare he release those people who are insurrectionists? I can't wait for that moment either. I feel like the next 4 years are just going to be full of moments that we can all laugh about, that we can all stand around in one big circle of patriots who love this country and piss on the ashes of the left. Are you guys ready to do that? Are you ready to whip it out? If you got that kind of plumbing, ladies, you're gonna have to squat. And I'm talking about the OG ladies, the real ladies who got the clan, not the new ladies who got something hanging off the front. No, I'm talking like real women, you know, periods and mothers, you know, all that girl stuff. That's what I'm talking about. You ladies are gonna have to squat. But fellas, are you ready to pull it out and piss on the ashes of the left? Laughing Dog says, I'm peeing right now. Good. Get it out. If you shake it more than twice, you're playing with it. Mark's Music Obsession. JG, speaking of guns, got myself a Glock 21 for my own Christmas gift. Hey, amazing. I just went shooting the other day with the family, and I brought out the Glock 21, and my wife shot it for the first time. My daughter shot the shotgun. My Mossberg for the first time. She shot the 308 for the first time. My son, he's not quite ready for all that. He's still a little guy, but he was out there with that 22, giving him hell. Laughing Dog says the coffee shop people are not happy. Well, I hope you're peeing in the bathroom. I'm not saying piss where you are. You're not a homeless person in San Francisco, so don't piss in the common area. Keep all urination and defecation to its designated place in the bathroom. Here at Jericho Green Enterprises, we do not condone public urination unless you're in your 20s and you're fucked up, and hopefully it's at night behind a business. But I can't wait for that moment when he pardons those people and you just watch the left fucking melt. Fuck them. You see what they did to us over the last 4+ years? I cannot wait to see them burn. So, shall we get some good news in here, guys? We're talking about, kind of downtrodden at the beginning, January 6th. But let's uplift ourselves from the ashes of bad news like a phoenix. Let's celebrate. You guys ready? Let's celebrate for somebody else. It's easy to celebrate for yourself, but let's celebrate for somebody else. Let's celebrate for our friends to the north, America's hat, or as my brother calls them, America's foreskin, Canada.
I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Kaboom! There it is, Justin Trudeau. Justin Castro, that half Canadian, half Cuban love child, Prime Minister, blackface, Mr. Al Jolson impersonator himself, Justin Trudeau, is no longer going to be Prime Minister of Canada. And if you listen closely, guys, if you put your ear to a bottle of maple syrup, you can hear the people of Canada cheering. Yes. Now, Pierre, whatever his name is, who's probably going to replace him, doesn't sound like he's much different. But you got to take your victories where you can get them, Canadians. All right? Justin Trudeau is out. And he said he talked to his family. I'm assuming he means his kids because he recently got divorced from his wife. His wife. She got sick of coming home and finding a dude behind him, sweating profusely and pumping. She said, I'm out of here. So I don't know what family he was talking about at dinner, but he said he talked to him and it's over. Canada, you have a little bit of silver lining there. There's a little bit of light on the horizon, sunshine, because this life-size vagina is stepping down. I don't know about you. Ladies, I don't know how you feel. Maybe it makes your vagina dry up when you see a man that is just so weak and feckless. But fellas, it makes me mad. Like guys like him, I just can't stand weakness. And he's just a big pussy. And I know what you're thinking, fellas. The bigger the pussy, the better. The more pussy, the better. That's not what I mean. He's just a weak little bitch. The way he talks, the way he sits with his legs crossed. And I know that men sit with their legs crossed, but he crosses his legs like a woman. Like you think that when if he switches legs and like goes across the other leg, you feel like you're going to get a glimpse of his vagina like Sharon Stone in that movie. Like when he crosses his legs, you can see like his puss for a second. He's such a little bitch. But don't worry about that anymore. Canada, he's out. I love it. Roman Dude said he definitely pees sitting down. Oh yeah. And he like puts his knees together when he has to pee really bad. And you're like, if he was like out on a trail or something, like out in the wilderness, He'd be like, oh man, you can be like, dude, just whip it out and go pee behind the tree. He's like, I can't, I need to find a bathroom. But dude, you got a penis. No, I don't. Like he would totally be a female. Like, and he would grab his pants when he squats to pee, he would like grab his pants so he doesn't get pee on him. His wife was like, hey, who used the last tampon? And he yells back, my bad, I'll get some more. Canada, I'm happy for you, man. I really am. Really happy for you. But hopefully the next guy coming in won't be as bad. Hopefully you get a reprieve from this commie shit. Maybe this next guy coming in will give you your handguns back, will roll back and undo a lot of the shit that Trudeau did. Remember, he just declared no more handguns, don't sell them, don't trade them, don't buy them, don't import them. No more. That's it, because I feel like it. You guys need to get you a constitution. But another thing I was wondering is what is he going to do now? Because he was down here a couple years ago, I think, or maybe last year, schmoozing and most likely having sex with Gavin Newsom. They were visiting. He was visiting Gavin Newsom. Maybe there's, I don't know if there are any whatever legal trouble or constitutional issues he would run into. I'm sure he probably couldn't be an American politician, but he's probably going to work with Gavin Newsom in some way. But Trudeau's not done. Just because he's not the prime minister of Canada anymore doesn't mean he's done pushing the agenda of the global agenda of the left. So watch out, Canada. But right now, enjoy, because that little bitch. And speaking of Canadian, isn't it ironic that he has a moose knuckle and he's Canadian? Because you know, under those pants, Trudeau has a serious moose knuckle. He has some fat lips. So congratulations, Canada. Oh, speaking of bad politicians, I did a video about this the other day, but if you guys missed it, you got to check this out. Nancy Pelosi is fucked up.
Hi, it's Nancy. I'm on my way to Washington to proudly represent the people of San Francisco in Congress. I'm honored to do so, to share our San Francisco values. Thank you for giving me that honor.
Tell me that woman is not lit up from the tit up. She is faded, feeling X-rated. And how sunken into her skull are her eyes? Because you see her eyelids, then there are these lines over it that look like eyebrows, but then you see her eyebrows. So she has like double eyebrows. What the fuck is that? Just look at her eyes and tell me what the hell I'm seeing.
Hi, it's Nancy. I'm on my way to Washington to proudly represent the people of San Francisco in Congress. I'm honored to do so, to share our San Francisco values. Thank you for giving me that honor.
Her mouth is all, yeah. Maybe she had some of that booger sugar, fucking shit. You see the tweakers. But she's on her way to Washington. That was her going back for the first time after she broke her hip. I saw a meme not too long ago. It had Mitch McConnell in a wheelchair and Nancy Pelosi in a walker. That's not what we want to see. That's not a show of strength. That doesn't exude confidence. It tells me that you need to step down and enjoy the twilight of your life. Nancy Pelosi, I think in March, is going to be 85 years old. 85. Now, we've all heard stories. Oh, the lady down there at the McDonald's, she's been there for 20 years. She's 89 years old, and she's up every morning at 5 o'clock waving to the customers and welcoming them in with a smile. Yeah, real touchy, feel-good story for the 6 o'clock news, but not who I want as a congresswoman or a senator. You saw Mitch McConnell reboot twice on camera. They're making that old school. Those of us who are old enough, you remember that when you picked up that phone or you were trying to upload something to the newfound interweb. That's what Mitch McConnell was doing twice. That fool was downloading. He was glitching in real time. He's in a fucking wheelchair. Nancy Pelosi's with a damn walker. They got the tennis balls on the bottom so it doesn't scratch the linoleum. That's who's in our government? Nancy Pelosi was lit. And I don't mean it like young people mean it. This party's lit. No, in my day, lit meant you were fucked up. And you know you are. You ever been so drunk that you say those words? I'm fucked up. If you say that, if you admit to it, you're going to have a rough morning. The next day is going to be hard on you. I'm on my way to Washington. What is up with her eyes? What is that? Her eyelids, the cavernous, sunken in eye sockets, and in her eyebrow? What the hell? What the hell? It was so fucked up. I'm on my way to Washington. Give me your keys, Nancy. Give me your keys. Justin Desroches, thank you. Almost 2 years as a member. Happy J6 Day, people. 22 months, man. Get in the fucking van, Trudeau. Hey, he has the time. That's who you need to be picking up in your van with no windows, Justin, is Justin. Go get him. Get him off the Canadian premises immediately. Mom Ranger, thank you. Also a member for almost 2 years. Happy New Year, JG. Thank you very much. Mom Ranger 2010, I appreciate it. Hope your 2025 has been more than you imagined. Mr. Kojak, again, thank you. He says, Whoopi was one of the hyenas. We have to acknowledge Sonny and the others who've joined her cackling pack. And I think Whoopi really, she was, I think, the voice of one of the hyenas in Lion King. The original Lion King, the cartoon, not this live action bullshit. Rory Fairs, thank you. It's bittersweet. My boyfriend resigned today, which sucks, but at least we get to spend more time wearing blackface and snowboarding. Hey, you got it. You got to look at the bright side. Yeah, you know, he doesn't have a job, but at least you'll spend more time together knitting and trying out new blackfaces, trying out new face makeups. That piece of shit. MGTOW Michigander. Thank you very much. Be sure to check out the new documentary coming soon to theaters starring the Ugandan nightmare herself. I believe it's called Race Off. Well, she can switch them out. It's like a wardrobe change. She's like, who am I in front of today? Black people? Mm-hmm. Who am I in front of today? Latinos? I love you too, baby. I love you, baby. fucking chameleon. And not the one that, what's his name? Not the one Boy George was talking about either. Mr. Kojak, again, thank you. He says, hi, I'm nasty and I'm on my way to Washington. Washington. What's up in Washington? The Pacific Northwest, the middle part of the left coast. No, the top, my bad. Middle part's Oregon. California, Oregon, Washington. Washington caps off the left coast. Let me see. Oh, speaking of Sloppy Joe, look what this fool had to say. Is this? And you know what? I saw a clip of him this morning from 2020, and seeing him in 2020 versus now, even though back in 2020, I remember saying myself, how can you watch this dude on TV for 5 minutes and vote for him? Because that's when they were hiding him in the basement, remember? But I saw a clip of him right after he acquired the election versus now. That 2020 Sloppy Joe is way better than what we got now. That senility must move very quickly because those aren't the same people. I'd rather have the Sloppy Joe from 2020 than the Sloppy Joe we have now. Wow. But he's lashing out. He's an angry old man. And apparently they were asking him about Trump. You know, do you still consider him a threat to democracy? And then he says, I'm the oldest serving president. I've met more world leaders than you have in your goddamn life. This old man is angry. But watch, check this shit out.
My being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life.
Your whole goddamn life. Damn, Sloppy Joe. That was crazy. Why was he so pissed off?
My being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life.
Whoa. Whoa. Joe? Why is he so mad? Why is Sloppy Joe so pissed off? He was mad. He said, "As the oldest serving president, I've met more world leaders than you have in your goddamn life." Golly. Woo. Well, I'm glad to hear from our resident Canadian, a professional, expert Canadian. He's been one for a long time. Christian Yahoser. He says, "A happy New Year, Jericho. Trudeau will resign this Wednesday. Officially, I guess. A late Christmas gift. Cheers, buddy." Yeah, man, enjoy. You guys need to go get your Christmas trees out of the dumpster, put them back in your house, because you got one more gift coming. Santa is going to squeeze himself down your chimney one more time, because he's bringing you a good one. He's bringing you a doozy. But from one jolly old man to another. Why, Joe?
My being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life.
That's so weird. So is this the real Sloppy Joe? Is it starting to break through? You know, you remember when Max Headroom would glitch? You know, is that what's happening? Is the real Joe bubbling to the surface in spurts here and there? Of course you've met more world leaders than them, you dumbass. They're regular people. They're not a politician. They didn't hijack the Oval Office and all the amenities. No, they haven't shaken hands with Xi Jinping or whoever, even though your hand was already shaking before you shook theirs. Hey, who's this young man? Of course not, you old bastard. He was pissed. I met more world leaders than you have in your whole goddamn life. Somebody get him a warm butterscotch pudding with a healthy scoop of Metamucil in it and calm his ass down. You know, people, you'd see him like having a panic attack and you give him a bag, which is weird. Breathing in your own carbon dioxide calms you down. I guess so. I guess it would have a calming effect, because if you pull in the garage, leave your car running and close the door, that definitely has a calming effect. But they breathe into the bag until they calm down. What they do with Sloppy Joe is they have a paper bag for him to breathe into to calm down, but the paper bag is filled with the clippings from like one of those kid barbershops that have, you know, it's like lots of bright colors, and the chair they sit in is like a little airplane or train. They scoop the shavings up, the clippings up from the ground, and they stuff the bag. I'm better. One more time. Calms him down. You know, music soothes the savage beast. Children's hair clippings soothes the savage Sloppy Joe. But he was pissed. I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened. Did they tell him that his favorite channel's not showing Matlock reruns anymore? Your goddamn life.
My being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life.
Joe is going out with a bang. He's like, I don't give a shit about nothing. Damn, bro. Chill out. So, on to this bullshit. So, you may or may not have heard, but there was a stabbing in New York City. It was at a deli, and apparently it was over who was next in line. But this giant Ku Klux trans woman stabbed this postal worker in the stomach 7 times. And what you're going to hear in this clip is some jackass who's saying that, well, what did he do to her inside the store? That's all that matters. Like, you can provoke somebody with your words and they kill you, and that's okay. but 7 times, and it wasn't a stab. It wasn't one stab, get away from me, as it would be in self-defense. It was 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not self-defense. That is murder. And they're charging this freak with second-degree murder. I think it should be first degree. Maybe it'll get bumped up. But they are a protected class, and it looks like a person of color. So that's like protection times 2. That's like wearing 2 condoms. So I don't know how protected they're going to be, but this shit is sad. And one thing that I learned I guess I read a long time ago, but I don't know, I saw it. It was some kind of show, and it was about this murder, and it was their trial. And I think the person had gotten stabbed like 60 times. And of course, that's a crazy amount of times to stab somebody. But what the lawyer did, what the prosecutor did, is he sat there, and I guess they had like a dummy or something inside the courtroom, and he mimicked the motions of stabbing somebody 61 times. And it wasn't long before he had to like stop and take a breather, because that was a lot to stab somebody that many times. So whenever I see things like this, I imagine that, because that really gives you an idea of how savage the attack was. And something like this, you stabbed him 7 times, that's not self-defense, that's murder. That is fucking murder, to stab somebody 7 times, even if the dude jumped on you. I mean, unless you really feared for your life, but it never even got to that. It was an argument. And this psycho-ass Ku Klux trans member, there's nothing wrong with them. It's the world around them, not them. They're jamming their big-ass man feet into a fucking woman's pump every day. They're gorilla gluing their dick to their taint so you don't see the bulge. And they're putting on all this clown makeup and fake hair. And we're supposed to think, nah, there's nothing wrong with him. Yeah, you can read to my kid. Yeah, go in the bathroom with my daughter or my wife, and yeah, post up down in the paint in sports. Yeah, play. These guys, these people are totally fine. You're the one who has a problem.
In Harlem, a sea of candles are flickering in honor of Roy Hodges. A letter carrier hat in the middle, a tribute to the post office employee who lost his life ordering lunch.
I don't have the words to describe the feeling. You know, I left home. I live in Long Island City. I came.
Celebrate him.
In Harlem, a sea of candles are flickering in honor of Roy Hodges. A letter carrier hat in the middle, a tribute to the post office employee who lost his life ordering lunch.
I don't have the words to describe the feeling. You know, I left home. I live in Long Island City. I came over here to light a candle for him. Yeah, so that's what it means to me.
The police say Thursday afternoon that Hodges was working and stopped into a deli on Lenox Avenue and West 118th Street to get something to eat. According to deli workers who witnessed the violence, Hodges and another customer, Jaya Cruz, got into a fight about who was in line first. That's when police say that Cruz pulled out a knife and stabbed Hodges 7 times. Now in custody, Cruz is facing a second-degree murder charge.
Jaya Cruz. You hear the media playing into this shit? Referring to that murderous freak like it's a girl? Giving them the respect of playing into their psychosis when you just stabbed a man unprovoked 7 times at a deli? How did we get here? We're old enough to remember when this wasn't even a thing. When they wouldn't even consider this. If you brought this to a news reporter, you have to read this and make sure you refer to him as a woman. They'd be like, I'm not fucking doing this. You want me to lose my job? Do you want people outside the station rioting and picketing, calling for my blood because I'm getting on TV telling them some wacky ass shit like this? Get this shit out of my face. But now it's par for the course. You're going to hear people referring to this weirdo, to this psychopath, as a woman, when that's clearly a dude. That fool looks like 6'6". He was towering over those cops. And you shake this dude in his stomach 7 times. That shit is crazy, but crime is down. Crime is down, people. Don't believe the hype. Where are you getting your numbers? Where are you getting your information? Why do you believe that crime is up? Why would you believe that? Crime is down, man. It's down, man. New York City's an oasis, man. You can walk around New York City with your money in your hand, a big old bundle of money, just walking around, whistling Dixie. Nothing's going to happen to you. You can stand on the platform in the subway. No one's going to come behind and shove you onto the tracks. No one's going to light you on fire and then fan the flames so you burn faster. And the people are not going to stand there and watch you burn with their cell phones in their hand, catching your death in 1080p. Don't worry about that. Those days are behind us. Look back, you can't even see them. They're already over the horizon. We're headed to happy times. And of course, as you stand there burning, a police officer twice is not going to walk by and light his cigarette on your flames. Don't worry, that cop is going to grab something to extinguish those flames and get you the medical help that I'm sure you need right now. Crime is not up. Yeah, okay. We flooded the country with millions of war age, man. All right, you got me. My B. That one's on me. All right, like I threw a bad pass in a football game. That one's on me, guys. Yeah, we did that. We flew them around the country to all these liberal shitholes. But that doesn't mean crime's up. Listen to how stupid you sound, American taxpayer. You're going to sit here and tell me, the elected official who has control over your life forever if I want to, because we don't have any term limits, but the president does. But you're going to sit here and tell me that because we flooded your country with criminals, that crime is going to go up? You mean to tell me that the word criminal derives from the word crime? So if you bring criminals in, the crime is going to go up? Is that what you're telling me, you stupid little taxpaying son of a bitch? Huh? Well, I don't believe it. Crime is down. And you know why it's down, American taxpayer? Because I said so, said so, said so. That's why. It's like when you ask your parents, why can't I do this? Because I said so. That means the conversation's over. That means don't ask me no fucking more. Crime is down because we said it's down. Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe your ears. Don't get in your little groups and talk to each other and share your experiences and different information to educate each other and better equip you to deal with our corruption. I mean, did I say corruption? Don't do that shit. Listen to me. I, the powers that be, say that crime is down, so it's down. Did I say that right, Mr. Soros? Ooh, nice Presidential Medal of Freedom you got there. Huh? This crazy piece of shit stabbed this dude 7 times in his abdomen. And you got the media talking about, oh, her and she. Remember the one a while back, that Ku Klux trans member ran that dude over repeatedly in Texas? Remember the school shooting at that Christian school? Wasn't that a Ku Klux trans member? Was it another Ku Klux trans member shooting shit up? But there's nothing wrong with them. It's you. It's you. Yes, they look like a clown that put on their makeup in the dark. They are visually psychotic. But you can't notice that. You have to call her she. Yeah, but I can see his Adam's apple from 50 yards. You still got to call him she. Well, what's that thing sticking out the front of his pants? What's that bulge? It's a she. It's ma'am. No, you didn't, the Ferg. I haven't gotten to the good gun yet. That's going to be a good one. That, my friends, is going to be a good one. Oh, check this out. Since we're on the East Coast, since we're talking East Coast news, watch this shit. Okay. New Jersey. Yeah. Fucking Jersey. I like Jersey. New Jersey ends basic reading and writing skills tests required to be a teacher. I'm sorry, what? Teachers in New Jersey will no longer be required to pass a basic reading, writing, and mathematics test to be eligible for public schools, according to a new law. Act 1669, which was signed into law by Governor Phil Murphy in June, went into effect on Wednesday at the start of the new year. The law aims to tackle teacher shortages in the state by removing what the New Jersey Education Association, a teachers union, called a barrier to certification in 2023. It's a barrier. Basic reading, writing, and mathematics is a barrier, even though you're supposed to be teaching said reading, writing, and mathematics to children. But it's a barrier for you to become a teacher to teach children who you'll probably be teaching reading, writing, and mathematics to. The new law states the State Board of Education shall not require a candidate seeking a certificate of eligibility, a certificate of eligibility with advanced standing, a provisional certificate, or a standard instructional certificate to complete a Commissioner of Education approved test of basic reading, writing, and mathematics skills, including, but not limited to, the Praxis Core Academic Skills or Educators Test, in order to obtain a certificate or eligibility, a certificate of eligibility with advanced standing, a provisional certificate, or a standard instructional certificate. So you don't got to do that anymore. So fuck it, let's all become teachers. Or we can just wait a few months and then there will be no more requirements. You could just say, I want to teach. And they're like, here's a class full of kids. The Praxis Core Academic Skills or Educators Test is used by over 40 states and territories in the country and includes questions on English and mathematics, as well as basic questions on specific subjects. We need more teachers. This is the best way to get them, State Senator Jim Beach, Democrat, argued when the bill was passed. Teachers may still be required to pass specialized tests regarding their fields. They will also require a minimum GPA and credits regarding their field, as well as a bachelor's degree. So you need more teachers, so you want lower quality teachers. Oh, looks like Laura's birthday. Happy birthday, Laura. So then why wouldn't you just incentivize teachers, like higher pay or maybe a better vacation package, or we'll pay off your loans, something like that, to where you still get quality. But you're going to lower the standard. That's what happened with cops. You start crucifying them if they do something that's totally legal. Somebody may have ended up dying, probably because they pulled a weapon first, or they used a department-approved hold on the perpetrator, and they ended up dying. So instead of coming to the cops' aid and supporting them, you crucify them. So the cops back off. It's called the Ferguson effect. I'm not going to do what I normally would because I don't want to lose my job or get sued or go to prison or all of the above. I don't want to do that. So I'm not hands off. So we're going to allow we're going to allow the crime to continue and run rampant and become more of a problem, because I'm not fucking up my life. So you have less people becoming cops because of that. I don't want my life ruined. I wanted to do this. I wanted to help the community, but the juice ain't worth the squeeze. So now you lower the standard for cops. So now you have a bunch of cops who look like if you put your finger in their stomach, they're going to go, hoo-hoo. You're lowering the standards. The training is less. The requirements are less. Yeah, you have more cops, but you have more shitty cops. You have more cops who aren't doing this for the right reason, who aren't qualified to do it. We got more. We just got more shit. So that's what's going to happen with these teachers. Yeah, you're going to have more teachers, but you're going to have more shitty teachers. You're going to have bodies, but they're not going to be teaching these children. They're not going to be educating these children. They're not going to be helping these children. So why don't you incentivize it? Why don't you take some of that money that you're trying to siphon into Ukraine before daddy comes home and put it towards something like that. Pay these teachers more. Maybe have people who are qualified in other fields. Hey, well, what's that? How much you getting paid? Oh, I want to do that. I'm overqualified to be a teacher, but I like that money. I don't know. I'm just a lowly taxpayer. I'm just an American struggling with my common sense. And the common sense is winning. So let's get to some good news, shall we? Good gun. Now, if you've been kicking it with me for a while, when I used to do live streams 6 days a week. And when I would always feature a story, and I would call it Good Gun because it was a story about somebody doing good with their gun. Too Fast, Too Furious. Great to have you. So, you know, you hear about, especially when you have one of these events, you know, some kind of shooting. Well, mass shootings happen all the time. They just don't highlight a lot of them. They happen all the time in ghettos and shit where 4, 5, 6, 10 people are shot, but they don't care about that because it's Negro upon Negro. But when it's a white person upon said Negro, hey, let's get those cameras rolling. Let's get all sharp tongue down here. Talking heads, sloppy Joes start talking about gun control. Let's jam through some legislation because they're fearful right now. But I like to highlight the stories where somebody uses a gun to defend themselves or defend somebody else. And in this story, on today's episode of Good Gun, we have a young man who's 14 years old in Texas. And this guy was going like house to house, knocking, banging on doors. I think they even say he was kicking on the doors. He had gloves on, a backpack, homeless dude. Obviously wasn't too sharp, walking around a neighborhood checking doors in the morning with gloves and a backpack on. So obviously the dude was off his rocker, but I don't care because what are you supposed to do? Hey, what's your mental state like before you use your firearm? No, you're presenting a threat. You're trying to gain entry into my home. It's a wrap. I might have told you guys this story before, but a few years ago, I went to a front sight training course. Front sight is this, it used to be just pistols, but now they have pistols, shotguns, knife training. They have legal classes you could take on. We actually had to take one on what happens when you shoot somebody in your home or you have to use your firearm, you know, wherever. But I took the pistol course. It was 4 days. Shout out to my brother-in-law. Shout out to Donnie and his family who invited me. But it teaches you how to draw if you have a concealed carry. If you have it on your holster, or you have it, or we were using our holsters, but it shows you how to draw your weapon, how to clear your clothing out of the way if you have a t-shirt or a jacket or something like that, how to clear it, draw your firearm, how to draw the pistol, how, you know, everything, how to present the pistol and lock your elbows at different distances, and how to get a jam, you know, if your gun jams, how to clear a jam. And if the shell ejects, you got a stovepipe where the shell is sticking up, the slide, you know, basically closed on it before it could be fully ejected, how to do all that kind of stuff. And then on the last day, or I believe second to the last day, they have these rooms set up where it's supposed to be like training for inside of a house. You walk in and there's 2 rooms and there's a door leading to the other room. So now you have to use your training, which they give you, on how to clear a doorway, step and trail, how to go around, clear the doorway as safely as possible, and then engage the target. So, and before you go in, they give you a scenario. My scenario was, he says, you're pulling up to your house in your driveway and you see 6 guys going into your house. Go. That's all he told me. So I go in, we go through the door, and the instructor's behind you, has his hand on your back the whole time. He's staying with you. And I go in, I draw my firearm, clear, step and trail, clear the door. I come into the next room, and now you see 3 different targets. And one of them has, you know, the paper target where it's a girl and her mom, and the girl's holding a balloon. And one is a guy he has a hoodie on and sunglasses. He looks shady, but he's holding a cell phone. And then you have one of a guy who's like clearly pointing a firearm at you, or he's drawing his weapon to shoot you. So you have to discern which target deserves what. So I go in, I see the girl and her mom. Obviously don't shoot them. And then the guy with the cell phone, boom, boom, boom. I gave him 2 to the chest, and it's about 10 feet away, like across the room. So if you know what you're doing with a pistol, you can get pretty accurate. So I give him 2 to the chest, 1 right here, what they call a brain box, where your eyeglasses sit right here. This is the easiest way to get in this, to shoot somebody in their head. In the skull, it could happen, but it can ricochet and all this kind of shit. But here, this is what you're going for. This is a sweet spot. So, boom, 2 to the chest, 1 to the brain box, and then I swing around to the other guy. He's displaying a weapon. So I think I gave him like 3 to the chest and like 2 to the brain box. So you're done. Reholster your weapon, nice and slow. Yeah, bro, man, dude, the skull is very strong. I remember seeing an episode of Cops where a guy took a .357 point blank from like a few feet away, but the bullet hit his skull, spun around under his skin, and came out the back of his head. And the guy was sitting on the curb being interviewed by the cop. So Cactus says, hey, Jericho, what's the name of the kid you play Pee Wee football with? I think I'm watching him on YouTube. Who? You got to give me more than that. You got to give me more than that. I played Pee Wee football with a lot of people. Gotta jog my memory. But yeah, dude got hit with a .357. If you know anything about firearms, .357 ain't no bullshit. If you had a bucket and it said no bullshit in it, a .357 round would be in that bucket. So it hit him, spun around. The guy was totally fine, went to the hospital, was released. So I reholster my weapon, and the instructor goes, we go back outside, and he says, so why did you shoot the guy with the cell phone? And I said, because he was in my house. They said, but he didn't have a firearm. I said, I know, but if I pull up to my house and there's 6 of you coming in the house, the 6 of you have to die because none of you look like my wife and kids. And that's who's in the house. That's the way I saw it. My wife and kids are in the house. 6 guys are in there. These guys are coming to do some of the most unspeakable things to my family. It's go time. Was the time you won this? Yeah, sure, I think. Leonard, no. I played with a dude. I played high school football with a dude named Patrick Leonard. But Leonard, that doesn't ring a bell from that. We did win the championship when I played for the North County Bulldogs. Give me more, Cactus. If you want, email me, jerichogreen2018@gmail.com, or we can figure it out here if you want. But that's what I told the instructor. I said, homeboy came in my house. It's a wrap. There's no, hey, what are you guys up to? Who's in here to do shit? Who's not? Okay, if you're here to do bad stuff, step to the left. If not, nah. You don't look like my wife and kids, so you get shot. And he was like, oh, okay. He was like, all right, I get it. Yeah, it's not about if you're armed or not. Once you make entry into somebody's home unannounced, without permission, you get blasted. It doesn't matter. He didn't have a weapon. That don't matter. You might as well have a rocket launcher or RPG or something, or a bazooka or fucking minigun. You might as well have the biggest gun you could fucking have inside my house, because I'm going to treat it just the same. Cactus, I didn't grow up in Merced. And any of the guys I played with in Pop Warner, they probably weren't from Merced. Or if you're from there, we're dead. Yeah, him about Chris. Welcome to the House of Pain, man. It's on. Anybody, I'm sure anybody would do that. Tell me in the comments. Would you handle it any differently? Would you not, if somebody came into your home, if same scenario happened to you, you pull up in your driveway, 6 men are going into your house, whether you have a family in there or not, does the fact that the person, let's say they didn't have a weapon. Let's say they didn't have a weapon, but they ran into your house. Are you going to treat that any differently? Are you going to handle it differently because they're not armed? Or is the fact that they stepped across your threshold reason enough to get that lead content to go up? You guys know how I feel. Exactly, Oscar Gonzalez, like the Bronx Tale. Now you can't leave. Now you can't leave. Vince Jackson, what's up, man? Welcome back. Yeah, it's over, man. Once you come in, it's on. I don't got time for no questions, none of that. You can't take the risk. You can't take the risk. If they get the better of you, if they get the drop on you, then who's going to be there? Who's going to be there to protect your family? As a father, if you go down or if you don't take the situation seriously and they overpower you, who's going to be there to protect your family when they're done with you? That's the way I see it. I can't fail. I can't let this person get the upper hand, because who's going to be here to protect my family if something happens to me? I can't bear the thought. I could not bear the thought. But yeah, Vince says waiting on January 2025. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Globetrotting says age matters. I had a really old dementia neighbor come into my house uninvited. He had wandered off from his family. He thought he was coming into his own home. I took him back to his house. Okay. I mean, yeah, if it's if you know him, did you know the guy? If you know them and you know they're dealing with issues like that, then yeah, I would definitely handle it differently. I would even still wouldn't like get too close to him. I would like kind of usher him out. If it's a senile old man or elderly neighbor and they're dealing with problems, yeah. Totally. You gotta, I guess in that case, you would take it on a case by case basis, but I don't think it's the age, because an old man can be dangerous too, or an old woman. So it just depends on, I don't know. If I knew them and I knew they had those issues, yeah, I would handle it differently. But even if I didn't know him, if I didn't know that man and he's in my house, yeah, there's a good chance he's gonna get fucked up. A real good chance. You know, again, you can't take the chance. Sharpin says if they are not presenting a physical threat and you off them, you go to jail, period. Okay, but I mean, that sounds like some bullshit they probably have here in California, but what constitutes not a physical threat? Like, are they, you know, what's not I mean, their presence is a threat. Their mere presence is a threat. You're in my domicile. You're in my residence, so your very presence is a threat. Now, if it's like some little old, oh, sunny, it's the summer of 36 again, you know, maybe a little old, tiny, you know, little elderly person, all right. But, you know, if not, yeah, there's a good chance you're going to get lit up from the tit up. Sharpin says they have to be coming toward you with a weapon in hand. No way. I'm not waiting for that. I'm not waiting for that. Hell no. No, man. Definitely if you, you know, come toward me or yeah, it's fucking over. And well, hold on. Let me read this one first. Lucy W says, my elderly neighbor threatened to off me. I was in my yard. I think he has dementia. I told the police because he has 2 guns. Yeah, now if this is an armed elderly person with mental issues, yeah, bro, you're getting sparked for sure. for sure. Hell yeah. Yeah. And you know what I should say it this way. If somebody were to get off in somebody's house and you had time to, you know, to Sharp End's point, well, they have to have a weapon. You know, you place the kitchen knife in their hand or something like that. You know, I've seen it in movies. I'll leave it at that. Authentically Kennedy, she says, hello. Got the whole fam watching right now. Uh-oh. Let me tighten up here. Here we go. How do I look, people? Got the whole Darkins family up in here. What's up, everybody? Happy birthday to Baby T. Kennedy's little baby boy is a year now. Happy birthday, young man. Went by fast, didn't it? Huh, Devore, Kennedy? That shit went by fast, huh? Yep. First year. Next thing you know, a year, you blink. Starting to walk, pull himself up, pull stuff down. Oh man, another year when he's fully mobile. I remember my son, I would take him on a walk in the morning on my days off. And I remember, him being in the stroller and then, he'd fall asleep and I'd have to take him out when we got home and put him down for a nap. And then, well, now he's not falling asleep on his walks. Now he falls asleep when he gets home. Well, now halfway through the walk, he wants to get out and walk on his own. Now, he doesn't want to take the stroller at all. He just wants to walk on his own. Now he doesn't walk. Now he rides a scooter. Man, that shit is crazy. She says, now Devore is already pressing me about baby number 2. Slow down there, Rocket Man. And you know what? It's not his fault, all right? The creator made making babies a lot of fun. A lot. So I understand that. But, I mean, some things are so nice, you got to do it twice. So handle that. Handle your biz. I'm on Team Devore. Big families. We need lots of right thinking, and not right politically, but correct right in terms of correct right thinking people. We need good people to have families. We need good people to make babies. That's how we save America. Because the people that they're flooding our country with, they're doing that. Some of them are showing up pregnant because we got this dumb shit in our country. Well, if you have a baby here, it's an American. Please, at ease disease with that shit. Go stop. Remember who supported you first. And I appreciate that. I will forever be in your debt for that, Kennedy. But hey, let's get some more babies there. But it's cool. And it'll come a time when, it's like, isn't there some kind of amnesia or something that kicks in where you forget, like the labor and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, yeah, let's do it again. It'll happen. But hey, anybody out there who's married and, you guys want to have a family, get to it. If there's anybody out there who wants to propose to your woman, but I got to wait till I have this and I want to have that and I want the ring to look blah, blah, fuck all that shit. Get something that's circular in shape, put it on her finger, and then build together. 10 years down, your 10-year anniversary, 15-year, then you can throw that rock on her finger that you've dreamt about. But the proposal, just make it thoughtful. Here's what I did when I proposed to my wife. I imagine her telling my proposal to her friends. And if it sounds good in story form, you're good to go. Because that's who the proposal's for. Let's be honest. If it was the other way around and women propose to men, we could be sitting on the toilet in the morning, take a shit. And she comes in, hey, you want to do this? You're like, yeah, fuck it. You know what I mean? So it's for the proposals for the ladies. So make sure the proposal's good. Whatever, get something around her finger. If she's really a good woman and she loves you, the ring's not everything. Later, and build your empire together. All right, but get married. Fuck all that. I want it has to be perfect. It'll never be perfect. It'll never be right. It'll never be what you think it should be. So just put a ring on it, marry that girl, and throw a baby in her stomach. Mom Ranger 2010 says, sorry, I had 4 boys. Wish it could have been more. See? I wish I could have had more kids. I wish my wife and I started our family earlier. I wish we would have got married younger. But the reason I know that I want it to be right and this and that is bullshit because I lived it. I should have proposed to my wife sooner and got started on this family sooner. I love my kids. And and Mom Ranger and anybody else who has kids of a certain age, of kids who are old enough to argue with each other, it's a pain in the ass. My kids argue all the time. They're fighting. So yesterday, we're on the side of the house because we got the RV parking area thing by our house. So we're out there and we're doing boxing, and I got them working on combos and shit and footwork and all that kind of stuff. And my son, because since my daughter's almost 13, her almost 9-year-old brother is the most annoying thing on the planet to her. So his very presence makes her upset. So Everything he does, stop, no, quit, be quiet. So he was saying something and she punched him. Be quiet. She punched him. And I said, if you don't keep your hands to yourself, you guys are going to fight. No headshots, of course, all in the body. So you guys are going to fight. You need to stop putting your hands on him. He's annoying. I said, I know that, but you can't put your hands on him because of his words, because he's being annoying. You can't do that. So if it happens again, you guys are going to fight. You guys will never guess what happened 2 minutes later. You got it. She put her hands on him. Like we never had that conversation. So I said, all right, go. So boom, boom, boom. They start going at it. And then she starts, stop, no, stop. I said, Ruby, don't back up. Get in there, fight. Why are you backing up? Go. So she starts, and they start going at it. She starts crying. I'm like, see? Keep your hands to yourself. Well, I don't want to hurt him. I said, well, he don't have a problem hurting you. There's no face shots to the body. Go. So I got to get that killer instinct in her. But the point is, they fight all the time. It's a pain in the ass. But the good moments, when we're all on the couch watching movies together, when we're out in public and my wife and I are walking together, and isn't it funny when you're parents and you're walking together with your kids, all you want them to do is walk ahead of you and get away from you. Like, get out of here, because then they're all obnoxious. Give me a hug, Mom. They're hanging on you and shit. Get out of here. Go walk up there. And the moments where you catch them putting their arm around each other or being kind to each other or Dad, you're home and all this kind of stuff, those moments overshadow all of the yelling at them and stop doing that, wash the dishes, get in here, clean your room, brush your teeth. All that shit doesn't matter. Anybody who has kids who did it right with the right person, and I don't mean like did it right, like did it that way, because we can all do that right. But if you did it right with the right person and everything, having children is the greatest thing in the world. Broman Dude says, grew up with 4 brothers. There were times it was war. Oh, yeah. I shot my brother in the face with a BB gun. He tied my hands behind my back and tied my feet together and threw me down the stairs. I locked him out on the roof. He just got out of the shower and he's like, you dare me to moon the neighbors? I was like, yeah, do it. He goes out on the roof naked. What a dumbass. So he goes out there and I slam the window closed on him and he couldn't come back in. And he kicked my ass so many times. I peed my water gun and shot him in the face. He held me underwater till I passed out one time. I dug a big hole in the side of the house and covered it, and I made him chase me, and he stepped in it and almost dislocated his knee. All kinds of shit like that. Especially if you're 2 boys. Oh man, there's gonna be some fighting. There's gonna be some fighting for sure. I fucking hated my brother growing up. I used to tell him I fucking hate you, and he beat me up. Oh, I used to hate that motherfucker. Now he's my best friend in the world. Growing up, he's 4 years older than me. Oh, I fucking hated my brother. He teased me, and he was always bigger than me, much bigger than me. So he'd always fuck me up. Oh man, couldn't stand that motherfucker. But you know, that's how it is. Now he's best of friends. Yeah, he says I got revenge on all of them. Yeah, revenge is sweet. You might have to take a shot of insulin before you get revenge, because that shit is sweet. Jennifer Norwood, she says, kids aren't for me, but my brother just had a baby, so I'm a newly minted auntie. Well, good for you. Congratulations. You get all the fun and no work. Kennedy says, can we just get a puppy instead? Sure, you can get one, but you're going to get that other baby too. TN Volume 9er. Oh, I probably fucked that up. My brother's 2 years older than me, my best friend. So are you male as well, or are you a female? Because the brother-sister relationship is different. The brother-sister relationship, when the sister's older, because that's what I know, my daughter's older than my son, it's more antagonistic. It's less physical. All the physical stuff comes from him. Like she'll push him sometimes or hit him or something, but that's not really her thing. But his thing is violence. But her thing, okay, so TN Volume 9er, I'll just call you TN because I don't want to mess up your name. Male, okay, so 2 brothers. I find, because my buddy Gabe, him and his brother are like barely 2, like Irish twins type shit, where they're really close together, like less than 2 years or something, like 2 years. they didn't fight either. So maybe it's a thing where, you know, you're both close in age, so you're close in size, so you don't have the whole picking on me thing or picking on them. I don't know, but when my brother and I being so far apart, being 4 years apart, and he was so much bigger than me, and I was probably very annoying to him because he was so much older and he was kind of on to the next stage of life. You know, I remember when my brother started being into girls. He didn't play with me anymore. He would ignore me. He'd always be on the phone. So yeah, I think maybe that's what caused a lot of it too, us just being in two totally different stages in life. I remember when I came home from school and we got our own rooms. That was bittersweet. Like I was happy because I didn't have to wake up in the middle of the night with my brother jumping over to my bed in some fucking wrestling move. But I kind of missed him. I missed being in the room together, but we got over that shit quick. Money Mike, he says, "Hey Jericho, how do I get one of those cool hats you're wearing?" You can go to my Teespring link. If you're on my page, should be a little ticker across there that has some merch samples. Hit that, man. It'll be there. I sure appreciate it. Be like Money Mike, get you some merch. Got new designs there. All kinds of shit. Island Anderson, what's up? She says, "Ha, not my house. Me and my little bro still physically fight. Not as much as when we were younger, but now we older and we still do." I mean, there were times when it was fun, but a lot of the times it was serious. I remember when I got the best of him. I was 15 going on 16. He was, I think, no, it must have been 15 because he was 19. He came home on leave from the army. And I don't know. I just had enough of it. I had my Tina Turner in the limousine with Ike Turner moment. You know, that was it. And he said something, man. And I was like, fuck this. Let's go. Let's fight. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you talking shit. I'm sick of you teasing me and shit. Let's go. And he approached me like, "Oh, no, man, come on, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "No, fuck that. Let's go." And I think I must have hit him first or something to let him know it was serious. And we get to wrestling, and it was for real this time. And I got him. I got on top of him, and I pinned his arms down with my knees like he used to do to me all the time. You ever had your older brother let the spit come out of his mouth, and then he sucks that shit up at the last second before it falls in your face? Well, he didn't always get it back in his mouth, people. I'll leave it at that. So I got on top of him. And I had my knees on his shoulders, and he couldn't do shit. Get off me! Trying to push me off with his hips, couldn't do it. So I'm like slapping him in the face and fucking with him, like bap. Shit. Get my payback. I love being on the low road. Fuck that. So I'm hitting him, bam, bam, fucking teasing him and shit. And so I let him up. I said, "I'm letting you up. Just so you know, I'm letting you up. I'm being merciful to your punk ass." So I get off of him. The wrestling continues. I grab him and I start dragging him up the stairs. And I drag him all the way to the top of the stairs. And by the time we get to the top of the stairs, now I'm really pissed. And I get him in a chokehold. You know, you got that spittle in the corner of your mouth. "You motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker." And I'm like choking him. Like Joe Pesci in Home Alone. I'm choking this motherfucker. And my Uncle Mark was there. Shout out to my Uncle Mark, one of my best friends, great dude. Uncle Mark at the time was 6'5", about 320, and moved a lot quicker than you'd think he would at that size. So I feel my Uncle Mark's grizzly-like hand on my back. He just puts his hand on my back and says, "That's enough." And I was like, "Well, I'm not fighting him, so I guess it's over." And I let my brother go. Piece of shit. So yeah, it was fun, man. I got my revenge. So what I'm saying is, kids, get your revenge. All right. But yeah, Authentically Kennedy, I don't know how we ended up way over here, but basically what I'm trying to say is have more kids. Have more kids, everybody. Throw those condoms away. Have more kids. Can't feel anything anyway. Am I lying? No, I'm not. You know condoms suck. You know it. No. And as I can hear, my kids are home because kids know nothing about volume control. Nothing whatsoever. You know how many times I tell my daughter, "Stop yelling." Damn kids. Kennedy burning condoms and birth control right now. That's right. Have a fertility bonfire. Throw all that shit in there. Throw it all in there. Condoms are for unmarried people. locked in for life. Raw dog it, skin to skin. That's what I say. Anyway, thank you guys for that. We covered a lot today. Canada, they're getting a new leader. Sloppy Joe is slipping further and further into senility. Nancy Pelosi still has a drinking problem. Kamala Harris had to certify the man she feels responsible for January 6th. Oh, how sweet it is. And of course, Good Gun. Good Gun was great. That young man. Oh, wait, did I play? Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, I didn't even play Good Gun yet, did I? See what you did, Kennedy? You got me on the whole kid thing. Motor Love 1968. Greetings from Northern Colorado and happy 2025. Ooh, it's a little cold up there, isn't it? Thank you very much, Motor Love. Motor Love, how close are you to Breckenridge? That's where I've been in Colorado. Flew into Denver, drove a while to Breckenridge, went to Golden, Colorado, did a tour of the Coors factory, did some river rafting. So it was like June. That was a fucking ghost town. Okay, 2 hours. But yeah, you haven't seen mountains till you've been to Colorado. Holy shit. And that thin air up in those mountains is a real thing. But I thank you all. And we are going to end on a good note. We're going to see some Good Gun, as I was explaining earlier before I got on this tangent. It's a video showing what happens when good people have their hands on a firearm and do good things. This is a balmy 45 here today. It's sunny. Really? Figured you guys would have icicles on your face. But 45 for the middle of the day, that's pretty damn cold, though. But I'm sure Father Winter is going to bend over and show Colorado his taint sooner or later. But I thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. Let's enjoy Good Gun. Let's celebrate our fellow American citizens exercising their Second Amendment rights to keep themselves safe. Kenneth Jackson says, Jericho Green, do Silky Biden for one last time before he leaves office. I'll probably have a chance to do it again before he leaves office, but hell, why not? Let's throw it to Silky Biden to take us out of here. So where's that slick woman slapping son of a bitch? Which reminds me, here. Speaking of Silky Biden, I found this clip, and I didn't know when I was going to get to use it, but I guess now is my time. But it's a hilarious clip from one of my favorite movies called I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. It's the pimp of the year. But let me have Silky Biden throw it to this clip. Then we'll get into Good Gun, and I will see you guys very soon. Silky Biden, man, where you at? Yeah, bitch. You know what I do. But I won't be able to do it too much more because I'm about to be out of office. You got that orange son of a bitch taking over my corner and getting all of my bitches. Well, to all my bitches, you better hope Trump's pimp hand is not itching because I hear he's quick to slap a bitch. I used to be like that, but now I like to eat butterscotch pudding and try to remember where I put in my shoes. But yeah, bitch, let's get to this clip. It's called I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. Bitch better have my money.
Bitch better have my money. Through rain, sleet, or snow.
It was a Shakespeare.
My hoe better have my money.
I'm telling you, that boy's a genius. Tell it.
Not half, not some, but all my cash. Because if she don't, I'm going to put my foot dead in her ass.
According to the Harris County Sheriff's Office, minutes before the shooting, 2 calls were made to 911 by neighbors with similar reports, saying that a man was trying to break into their homes, kicking on doors and requesting money. That man, according to next-door neighbor Araceli Herrera, was captured on her security camera early this morning.
As soon as he comes out the ditch, I'm like, this guy has some, I've never seen him before. He has some weird behavior, and I was on alert.
She says she kept an eye on him through her window as he walked over to her neighbor's property and began knocking on the front door, pacing and peeking through a window before returning to the door. Concerned about the 14-year-old boy who lives inside, she says she called her neighbor who had just left to take his younger siblings to school.
I already knew and figured at this point that he was, there by himself.
She says as the man continued to try and get inside, that's when she claims she saw the teen open the door and fire multiple shots.
I walk back away from the window, and I'm like in shock.
According to Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, the alleged suspect, a man in his late 20s to early 30s, died on scene, and the teen was not hurt.
It's a very traumatic situation out here when you're talking about a 14-year-old having used deadly force and protection of himself and his property.
The sheriff said they believe this was likely an attempted burglary, given the man had on a pair of gloves and backpack, which he says is indicative of someone trying to break in. They also believed he may have been homeless.